right? We really, to do this right, we need to decide or have decided what our lead pillars are that we're focusing on versus the whole world and all 8 billion people are our possible clients. No, they're not. So what are our lead pillars that we're really looking at? When I say that, obviously past client center of influence are a big piece of most of our business. But there are so many ways, good morning, Fu, so many ways to generate business, whether it's those or open house or geo farming or expired listings or for sale by owners or fill in the blank. What are the lead pillars that are important to you? And I would like to talk depth, not width, with each of those lead pillars. I don't think anybody that's here should be looking at having 15 different pillars right away until we have 2, 3, or 4 that are really built out, right? Really producing at a decent level. So let me start with you, Alex. Where are you with your lead pillars and what is that for you going into 2023?
Past clients, my sphere. I'm trying to get better on my CRM.
Okay.
But for me, I love cold calling. I love circle prospecting.
Do
You
you
know,
really?
I love it, man. That's to me, I love it.
That's great.
I was doing
Great.
Placentia yesterday and I ran into one of Aaron's clients, which was cool.
That's awesome. Yep,
So
that'll
I, I,
happen.
I messaged Aaron, hey, just want to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. But this guy says he knows you.
That's awesome. Alex, funny story. Dave can attest to this. Back in the day, my Plantronics headset and 25 conversations a day. Alex, think about that today, cold calling. What would it take to talk to 25 people today? You know, it'd take about 500 calls and about 6 hours to get through it all, probably.
Yeah.
I would dial down, and I worked for a company called Century 21 Grisham Joseph. Well, on multiple occasions in my years working there, I would get this woman, hello. Hi, this is Don with Century 21. I'm calling because we just sold a house around the corner, had 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, sold for 500,000. Yes, Don, this is Mrs. Grisham. I'd look at my list. Miss by the third time, like, what's going on, Mrs. Grisham? I am so sorry. I am so happy you're doing the work and making the calls. I was talking to the owner's mother, and they owned like half of the houses in La Mirada at the time. It was hilarious. Keep going. There's a lot of business to be had by circle dialing. So for you, circle dialing, past client center of influence, anything else that you're working on, or are those
I'm just trying to focus on that. I really, for me, the opportunity to just like on my break, I go outside, I pull up my iPad, I'm calling my farm or I'm looking specifically what recently sold, what recently listed, especially like it's a good deal, right? In Norwalk,
yeah,
there's this great house at under 500 and I'm promoting that. And then that allows me to start the conversation.
I love it. That's great. That's great. Fu, what about you? What are the lead pillars in the plan for you?
I'm enjoying seeing people, so door knocking.
Door knocking. Awesome.
And open.
Door knocking, open house. You're on the I team, so the I team. Awesome. 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 Okay. Dave, what are you going to focus on this year?
More of the sphere of influence, past clients. Try to get some more open houses under my belt, public farms that I've been doing over the years.
Nice.
And then the IT thing that you mentioned.
Yeah, baby. Okay, good. Good. Mandy, how about you?
Well, I am basically open houses right now and just meeting people at different things like Pilates or,
Yeah.
stuff like that, just because I don't know anyone. So,
The
but
more you do, the more you
Yeah.
get to know, right? Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So I
And
think
follow it, boss.
and follow
Or,
up
my
on the I
local.
team.
Yeah.
Awesome. 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 I love that. Okay. And networking, right, Mandy? That's really
Right.
what that is, wherever we go. And that's important. And I'll remind you and everybody, we'll all be networking at some level with your frat brothers or your girlfriend's friends or family or different business groups that we belong to, or just social groups and events that we belong to. I want to remind you, it's not net waiting. It's called networking, right? So at the event, when we meet, yes, it's great to have those conversations. It's the follow-up, it's the one-on-one, it's the building of the relationship beyond that moment at Pilates, at the chamber, at the cocktail event, wherever it is. It's the ability to take that relationship, build that relationship, and turn it into an equitable referral base one way or both ways, right? That takes skill and talent. It doesn't stop at the Pilates class. That's all I'm getting at. I've seen too many agents, especially you'll attest to this in the this Chamber of Commerce. Go to the Chamber of Commerce, you have their cold egg breakfast, you meet some dudes that have been there for 30 years. You do that for 6 months and you wonder, why am I here? It's not working. My coaching question after that is, how many times have you followed up with them and set up a coffee meeting to get to know them and build business relationships beyond just the hour and a half with the speaker you may or may not have liked, with the breakfast you may or may not have liked? We have to take it beyond that. So, okay, so everybody knows their lead pillars for this year. I want to remind you, go deep with all of them before you add any more on. Get in the habit of going on the break, hours of calling, fitting it in the schedule, getting used to it, getting some results, making it part of who you are and what you do before we add on anything else. The worst thing is to have a business plan. I've had a couple agents like this with 19 different lead sources and one here, one there, one there, one there, versus, I mean, let's develop this and get 5 to 10 to 15 from one lead source, not have to use all these lead sources just to get one from each. I mean, business is business, but that seems exhausting to me, right? Doing too much to just get one deal. So be careful of going wide, not deep.
Hey, Don, can I just share that obviously sometimes when we're first starting, we don't have money or the funds to do the marketing, but you want to do the pillars and do what's probably the cheapest route at the beginning, but you're gonna have to spend some money. For me, yeah, you have to come to the realization is you have to invest. So that house I just sold down there in Rancho Santa Margarita, I did a just sold flyer. I mailed it out, and I'm really that's something that complex alone is what I'm going to be working. But I know I'm going to have to spend some money.
Absolutely.
Same with the Mojo. I use the Mojo cells, and that thing ain't cheap, man. So the fact that I know
$200 a month, yeah.
the fact that I know I got some money or some skin in the game, right? I know I got to utilize it, because if not, then it's a waste. And if I do one deal, let's just say, obviously the goal is more, but that one deal pays for my whole year.
That's right. That's right. And then some, right? And then some. Absolutely. Now there is sweat equity, there's door knocking, there's dialing through the list. There's ways to do it with little to no money, but at some point you need to invest in yourself. Absolutely. And into the business. All right. So once we have our lead pillars set up, which you do, then it comes down to, what are we doing? Are we marketing to this lead source? Are we prospecting, actively prospecting to the source, or are we both? For example, Foo's starting up a new farm. Many clients I know think they can mail once a month for 12 months, and that'll be enough to generate business. That's all it takes, Dave. That's all it takes. No, right? No, you got to be in there 2-3 times a month. You've got to get face to face with them. You've got to pick up the phone and call. You've got to get some social media going. And that's something you should do. Create some sort of social media group for that Facebook group and start having people join your group on your flyers into the farm. That way the marketing goes from paid to less expensive if we can get them joining our group. We've got to decide, are we going to market to them? Are we going to actively prospect? Or are we going to both? Right? Sphere of influence, we can have them on a list, but if we're not actively calling, emailing, mailing, engaging in social media, having those one-on-one conversations and meetings, doing group meetings and meetups and events, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And then the year goes by and we should have, would have, could have, but didn't. So what's that quote? Don't be mad at the results you don't get from the work you didn't do, right? We've got to put the work in, either marketing or prospecting. Guys, I can't decide that for you. You have to decide that for yourself, right? You have to decide, is there marketing that I'm putting money into and effort into? Am I hiring somebody to do this for me? Am I doing it on my own? Or is it going to be straight prospecting, texting, emailing, calling, on my back only? Any thoughts or questions around that subject when it comes to your specific lead sources? Like, what do I do to prospect? How do I market my sources? Let's talk about it. Got it all figured out? No problems?
Don, for me, I really
ahead.
wanted to get better. I want to get better at a CRM because I think if you have, you got to spend hours on that thing. You really got to set it up, take your time. And if you
What
do,
CRM are you using right now?
Wise Agent.
Wise Agent. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you got to use it. You got to screw it up. You got to push some buttons. You got to watch the videos. You got to call customer support, and you've got to spend, 20, 30, 40 hours in it to really understand how it works.
well,
Alex?
I was just saying that, yeah, I realize the time that it takes, but if you put as much info as you can in there, and anybody you touch and talk to, you can add them, make it a system to where it kind of runs on its own,
Yeah.
and then just manage it. I think that's going to be a big plus for me.
Yeah. One of the things I found, and I'll say this, and hopefully you've got this already. There's a button, and I don't use Wise Agent, I use Follow Up Boss, but every good CRM has it. It says, I'm going to call Alex on next Tuesday at 10 o'clock, save, and it shows up in a task list. It emails you, it texts you something. That is the best. Of course, for mailing labels and for organizing and email blast, the best button on any CRM is that reminder of when my next contact is with them. The worst thing we can do is ignore that. That list gets really long, really fast if we begin ignoring that list. That's what the CRM is built for, to be our external brain for our lead follow-up, right? Make sure you're using that and actually executing against that, Alex, with the CRM. And man, I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it like this. Don't be like the salty veterans that wish they would have put a database together 20, 25, 30 years ago. I was on the phone with a call yesterday with a woman, 13 years in the business. And these are her words. Treat me like I'm a rookie. I've never built a database with my past clients in my sphere. Way back to the basics and put them into the CRM, name, phone number, email, snail mail address. Let's start there and then work into home anniversary, wedding anniversary, kids' birth dates, spouses' birthdays, etc. Then it gets really fun and really interesting with what we can do. Use the automated email and the text campaigns that they have, or create your own through that. Alex, that's where the learning curve really gets interesting. And the only way to do it is to do it, right? You've got to put the painstaking hours in. And we're salespeople. The last thing we want to do is data entry, right? That's why we're salespeople.
Yeah.
So we don't have to do this all day. do it, get it set up. You'll be happy you did. I'm glad you're working in on it. For sure.
Cool. For sure.
That's cool. Anything else on marketing or prospecting the lead pillars? Cool.
Why doesn't he use,
Go backwards.
his own follow-up offer?
No.
No,
Okay, so here's the other part. You said it, we need to spend money. What do you need to buy? What do you need to have in bulk? What do you have to have ready? Business cards, flyers, marketing material, promotional materials, technology. What do you need to buy? What's the list of things you need to put money into so you are ready to execute on all of this? Flyers.
Yeah, I thought Melissa came in the office yesterday.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta get a hold of her today.
We talked about it, but I'm still waiting for her to send me over the price. I don't know how much it's gonna be. She said she would send it over last night, but.
Okay.
haven't seen anything. And
We
then
can barely hear Fu, or I can barely hear Fu.
Same.
Flyer for me right now. I'm
Hey,
figuring
what's
out
up?
how
How
much
are you?
to spend. So I need to
Cool.
figure out
What's
what
up?
to spend on flyers. I'm waiting on the quote, but I bought my own open house signs, 15 of them from the complete package.
Alex, he is one of the store clerks. He works under Jesse, so he handles this site. So supplies, all that good stuff. Ergo, yeah.
I'm gonna mute you real quick, Alex. Okay,
But yeah.
so flyers for Foo is a big one for the marketing side, yeah. And open house signs, right? You gotta have open house signs. It's nice to close the deal and be able to reinvest in it is expensive, right? Remember, you don't need 15 open house signs anymore. You might want 15 more, so you can put 30 up on those big open houses as we've talked about. But yeah, you need to know what do you need to buy? What's the budget? What do I need to spend money on now? And then when I do close the next one, what's being reinvested into the next set of signs, the next set of marketing material, etc. Everybody should have impact shirts or sweatshirts or hat. You don't?
They ran out of my size. Small.
Yeah, they ran out my size small too. I know what you mean. Um, so how do we take the logo and go buy our own shirts? You could do that, go to a screen printer and have your own made. It's good to be in the grocery store, get 5 black impact property t-shirts going and you're set. Just like you were wearing your Fullerton polos all the time, it should be the same thing, either t-shirt, polo, sweatshirt, hat. It's a great conversation starter and it's an easy conversation starter.
Hey,
And-
Don, since you
Yep.
mentioned that,
Yeah,
I have tried to order on the exit. Tried to go to that exit thing and it will not let me order anything. I don't know I'm doing wrong. But I'm not sure if that's an issue other people are having or if it's just operator error, which is very possible.
would you, Mandy, I'm learning that is a possibility, yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to put it all on you though. Please reach out to Larissa. She'll have more answers than I do on the site.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
thank you.
You got it.
Hey,
Great call.
Fu, I have, my friend did all my shirts, so if you're interested, he did a couple of hoodies for me too.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yes.
I'll talk to
Send me information. I need to get a couple things for myself too, and I'll get it.
Yeah, would you
Absolutely.
send it? Would you send it
Yeah.
to me too, Alex? And then
Yeah,
that way
he already has the
he already
logo.
has it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Oh, so
Okay.
there won't be a setup for us also.
I love it.
Cool.
there shouldn't be,
Okay.
just, yeah, well, maybe we'll get an order. I'll talk to him today. He
Yeah.
doesn't do the stitching, but the screen printing he does do.
Perfect.
I found
Perfect.
another spot that'll stitch, I think maybe $10 a shirt if you want to do.
No, I want t-shirts and I also want to do an impact logo on a hat, like offset. I need somebody to stitch it.
Okay, cool,
Yeah, cool.
for sure. All right.
All right.
Cool. So yeah, all of this, right? What do I need to buy? Where is that written down? Where's your budget? Where's your list of things? Because we talk about it here and we're all gonna go get busy and Alex is gonna send the number and maybe we do it now, maybe we wait till next week. Don't forget, there's nothing like putting an order in, locking it in, paying for it, and then, oh no, I needed 3 more things. Make sure you have a running tally of all the things you need, because that ebbs and flows and changes constantly.
For me right now, like when I spend on something, I think about like, do I need it or do I want it?
Yes,
And then
yes.
if I want it, I better, if I spend $300 on the thing I want, I better spend doing it on myself also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. Guys, Fu was saying if I need it or do I want it? If it's something I want, match those funds with something I need into the business also. And it really makes you think twice if you're gonna spend that double the money or not. That's a really good point. Really good point. Write it down, keep a tally of it, trick yourself a little bit if you need to make sure it's worth your while. That's great. Okay, what do we need to buy? What button do I need to push? There we go. All right, so this is a big one. This is the biggest one, second biggest one probably in this conversation is how's your schedule? What's in your schedule?
For me right now, door knock every Monday.
Okay.
Another day, door knock, just me and morning hand
Yeah.
worker, we agreed on Monday. to
Okay.
find Another day.
Okay, cool. So Fu says he's door knocking on Mondays. He's got to find another day to do that. That's awesome. I have here a list of things that I believe should be in your schedule if they're not already. I learned this a while ago from a coach of mine, guys. But if we're working, by the time we wake up to the time we're done for the night, there's no blank spots in the schedule if we're really doing this right. We have a full-time job, Alex. There's not many blank spots. Shouldn't be, unless you know how to work the system, shouldn't be too many white spaces in our schedule. But what should be on our schedule is our morning routine, our practice and role play, whether we're going through the scripts on our own or with our dog or with somebody else, our presentations, right? Getting them down. Our marketing time should be in there. Our time on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And if you're on the TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube, we need time for that in the schedule. So we create time blocks in the schedule. This is the hour, this is the 2 hours, this is the 30 minutes of our marketing in our schedule. Business generation calls. That's called prospecting. I thought I'd say it a little nicer here. Whether it's the circle dialing, FSBOs, expireds, past clients, center of influence through the farm. When are we going to do that? Whenever we feel like it? How often do you feel like prospecting? I feel like prospecting when it comes up in my schedule. I never feel like it. I just do it. It doesn't matter. It needs to be done. If we wait for our feelings to be right on, we're in trouble, man, because I feel like doing something else most of the time. But I like my goals better than I like feeling like doing something else. So we make the calls, we do the things. Then follow-up calls and appointment setting. I don't know if you guys have found the initial conversation, the business generation calls, and the follow-up calls are two different conversations. Right? The first one is, hi, my name is, introduction, what are your plans? The follow-up call is, how are you? Where are you in the process? Let's get together and put a plan on paper. It's different. So in my world, I've always separated those two so I can keep my mind focused on new business generation. And if it's time to follow up, I shift gears and then I make all of my follow-up calls back to back to back. And I use that momentum of that conversation to the next one. Right? Circle dialing, Alex, is nothing like getting on a roll, making 50 calls, talking to 5 people, and oh wait, now I need to call Barbara and see if we're going to get together on Thursday. Finish those circle dials and then get into follow-up and appointment setting mode, in my opinion. Lead generation, sometimes we're setting appointments. Most of the time we're finding a lead to follow up on. Most of the time that's what's happening when we're prospecting, right? It's not a one call close business most of the time. Every once in a while we hit a lotto. Most of the time it's a follow-up that's going to ensue, even if it's your best friend. yeah, call me on Tuesday and we'll set something up. I mean, even if it's that simple, there's a follow-up involved. Administration, I hate to say it, we got to work on files sometimes. We got to find those documents. We got to get those signatures on DocuSign. We've got to have admin time within the week. It doesn't have to be all day, it doesn't have to be every day, but at least a couple blocks through the week. Appointments, you guys, especially if you have a job outside of real estate, when are you ready to go on appointments? Block some of that time out in your week that are ideal for appointments and speak life into those time blocks. Hey, Georgia, I can get together this week. I have Thursday and Saturday at these times available. What works better for you? I don't care which one they choose. I just want them to choose one of those at all possible, because that's perfect into my life, around my family, around soccer, around my day-to-day here. If I'm prospecting and following up in the morning, I don't want to go on appointments in the morning. I want to stick to my schedule, so I'm not going to offer up a 10 a.m. appointment if on my schedule 10 a.m. says lead follow-up for 2 hours, right? Stay true to your time. And as we all know, as soon as we get a deal going, prospecting and marketing are the first thing out the window. And we'll be happy to throw appointments on top of that prospecting time. Stop it, don't do it. Rich, poor is what ensues when we do that. We need to lead generate, we need to lead follow up, we need to work on our deals all simultaneously to have the business that we want, not the ups and downs of the financial real estate world. And then lastly, if we have no appointments, if we've done our morning routine, we've practiced, we're marketed, we've made calls, we've followed up, we have no appointments, you have a choice to go home and call it a day, or pop buys, lead generation, and lead follow-up calls more, right? If there's no appointments to go on, my opinion is it's all appointment setting and lead generation. That's it. I mean, thank God for fantasy football to break it up a little bit. But other than that, I mean, I don't know what else to do except market, prospect, and follow up when there's no appointments to go on, other than go stare at the ocean. I mean, we live in Southern California. That's wonderful, right? That's an option. Any questions or thoughts when it comes to the schedule? And please, it's okay. This is a big topic. People seem a little embarrassed to talk about because it's time, right? We should all figure it out. Very rarely do people have the schedule and time management absolutely dialed in, guys. I find it's one of the number one reasons I have a career in coaching, is to help people with their time management and scheduling. So let's talk about it. What challenges do you have? What questions do you have about it?
Don, I think for me, because I do work full-time,
Yes.
it's difficult. Like, while we're on this call, I just got my only client asked me to see a place. And so I had plans today to go help my mom, but then I canceled and with my mom, and now I'm gonna, I feel like I don't have a great boundaries around saying no or putting myself first. I do that all the time. So I think that's probably a big one for me.
Okay.
So
Mandy, the short answer is sometimes, welcome to real estate, right, Dave? Sometimes plans have to change, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you actually have time blocks for appointments in the day, regardless if we actually have appointments already set there or not, like for instance, let's say your Friday time block for appointments was 2 to 4. And you still wanted to help mom, you'd either help mom before or after that, or plan on it, assuming an appointment would come, because you are prospecting, you are setting appointments,
Right.
you are following up with your leads, you're working with a dentist who wants to buy something yesterday,
Right.
right, which helps. So then I am going to have a block at least 3 days a week, at least on the days off that I'm not working.
Okay.
And I'm going to schedule around that until I know I can schedule over it, right?
Okay.
But until then, yeah, that's why those imaginary appointment blocks, putting it in the schedule in advance so we can speak life into it. Mohammed, I'm sorry, I can't do it at 11, but I can do it at 1, 2, or 3. What works better for you?
Okay.
Right? Because
great.
you've told your mom I'm available, but if something comes up, I'm gonna have to bail during this time. You're true to you, you're true to your mom, you're true to your clients.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a really hard one. And then recur it. Here's the big one. Use a digital calendar and push the recurring button every week.
Okay.
Set those appointments. We can always drag and move them as necessary, right? The guy doesn't want to do it at 3. He's going to Tahiti. He'll be back tomorrow for a day and has to see it at 7 tomorrow night. We can slide it down and adjust it. But if it's not there, then we're creating it and it's blank, and we'll schedule mom on top of everything. And we
Right.
won't leave space for it. 3 o'clock on Fridays. This has been a standing appointment in my calendar forever. It says family time. Actually, 3 o'clock says deposit checks. You want to make more money, put deposit checks on Fridays or every day. I only have it once a week. Now that I'm saying it, maybe I should say it every day. Manifest your, right? When we think about it, we talk about it, we see it more often, it's likely to happen. Ever since I've done that, guys, we've made a few more bucks. That's all I'm saying. You might want to throw that one in there. It's kind of cool.
Right.
And at 4 o'clock, it says family time. You can't catch me tonight. I'll be at a soccer game. 5 o'clock, El Modena. We're not in Yorba Linda. It's in Orange. If you want to, if you're around. But things like that allow me. Oh, Dave, I'm sorry, I can't do Friday. I can either do earlier Friday or we can get together Saturday. What works better for you? Because I forget. I'm running a million miles an hour. Mandy, you have this and that and the boys and put it all in the schedule. And I'll show you guys. A few of you have seen this. I don't mean anything by this because I do have a job that does not entirely mean I'm just selling houses.
Mm-hmm.
That's my calendar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Most of those, many of those are 30-minute time blocks for coaching sessions. But I also have a couple masterminds in there. I have this training in there. I'm meeting with Josh out in Tennessee this afternoon. And then I have my accountabilities with my coaching clients that say, you know, they're supposed to text me, and if they don't, I want to remember to reach out to them. So I put a WTF and their name, and it reminds me to text them. That's Where's Tom Ferry, by the way. It's not what you guys and they don't want my WTF text. That's the idea, Alex. That's the idea. Don't let me text you before you text me. But it's all in there because I will not remember, and you think you will remember. You won't remember. Right, Mandy? Mom gets,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Amen. I
Yeah.
don't remember half the stuff. I have to write it down or put it in a calendar.
Yep. So here's one of the big things with the schedule. As soon as we decide on it, as soon as you decide on it, the routine is it goes in the schedule. As soon as you make the commitment, it goes in the schedule. And all the things I want to do, whether I will or not, I'm more likely to do it if I put it in my schedule, line it up. That's why we have
Okay.
these 8 things I always talk about. Put them all in the schedule. You can delete them or modify them if you need to. But if you're there and you're not doing anything else and you get in the habit of following the schedule, I don't think about what I'm going to do. I review my schedule the night before. I review my schedule the day of, and I create any new part of my schedule on Sundays for the week coming up. And all of these things plus are in there for me. If you look at each day as put 8 hours aside, right, for sleep, we have 16 hours a day for you to, there might be 8 of those are the JOB, but that leaves 8 hours to get the rest done. You got to drive around. We have the kids, we have the spouses. So really that leaves 4, 5, 6 hours a day. Multiply that by 5 or 6 days. There's plenty of time to do it all if we use all the blank spot in the calendar and break things up by at least the 30-minute mark, if not fewer minutes. I have a couple 15-minute appointments per week or 45-minute appointments, but I try to do it mostly through the 30-minute blocks. Oh, thank you, Alex. I'll pick that information up. Any other questions or thoughts on schedule? No, make sense? Okay, cool. Put it out and then live by it. Before we get to the next point here, there's somebody I want you guys to follow, sign up for his newsletter if you haven't already. His name is Seth Godin. Alex, do you know that name?
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool. Seth Godin, Godin. If you type in the word Seth, that's him. This man he was around when the internet was invented. He's a business guru. He's a speaker. He's an author. Super prolific. Over 20, I'm going to say close to 25 years now, over 20 years. He has sent an email, a newsletter, something into the universe, wait for it, every single day. For over 20 years, 7 days a week. He hasn't missed one day. And he was being interviewed and somebody asked him, how do you do that? Why do you do that? He said, because I made the decision with myself once and I no longer need to negotiate with myself about it. We set it up and we negotiate with ourselves with it and decide not to do it anymore. If it's that important to do, it goes on the calendar and we no longer negotiate with ourselves about it. It just gets done. We follow the schedule. When we were calm and it made sense and we were thinking rationally, we put the calendar together and it made sense. We get into panic and go mode, and then we start negotiating with ourselves. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this instead. Maybe that's right. The prospecting, the lead follow-up, the appointments, those stay on the calendar, man. We follow through with those to make it happen. So Seth Godin, he puts a email out every day. Sometimes it's that short, sometimes it's that long. It's thought-provoking most days. Some days it's not worth anything, and some days it's the most profound thing you'll hear and read all day long. So he also says, I write every day because I don't know when the greatness is going to come out. So I have to write the crap also. So the greatness comes out and I don't get to decide what's bad and what's great. My readers do, the public do. So I just put it out every single day and let the cards fly and fall where they may. I absolutely love that. Makes a lot of sense. Easier said than done every day, but I really appreciate that. And it means a lot to me, at least. Okay. So we have the schedule down. We have the marketing and the prospecting down. We have our lead pillars down. How are we holding ourselves accountable to this? What's our accountability? Is it self-accountability? Sometimes that's all it's needed. I said I'd do it. I'm going to do it. But I tell you what, sometimes, most of the times, many times, quite often, we'll do more for others than we'll ever do for ourselves, right?
Amen.
Amen. All right, Mandy. Yes. So I tell you what, because you have children and because you are a child, no, I'm just kidding, Fu. Most of us have children. Our kids are a great accountability. Fu's going to knock me out one day with one of my smart ass comments. I know he is. Girlfriends are really good accountability partners also, right? Hey, this is my goal. Help me stay on track, and this is our prize, right? One of my clients from Vegas actually drove 10 hours from Vegas, guys. He just texted me today. It's a 4-hour drive if you're going 90 miles an hour. It's a 5-hour drive if you're doing the speed limit. So I've been told. Uh, traffic was horrendous. They're going to Disneyland. And apparently it's the last weekend for Splash Mountain. It's coming down. Yeah, they're changing it. Anyway, could you imagine? I had an 8-hour drive from Vegas. That was our worst, but not 10. That's a lot. But the family was holding them accountable to what we were going to do. They did what they're going to do. Now they're in Disneyland. It's pretty cool. When you tell others what you'll do, Mandy, you tell the boys, hey, we're going to do this, and we're going to the ball game, we're going to dinner, we're going to go get you the thing, we're going to go see dad up, whatever the prize is. All I need you to do, hun, is remind me or ask me at dinner every night how my calls went today. Mom, just set any appointments today? How'd the appointments go, Mom? How'd the conversations go today? Ooh, they may not always do it, but if it's tied into something for them, it's
Yeah.
powerful. We're gonna go get I don't know, the VR headset, the new Call of Duty, the whatever it is. I don't know. Doesn't matter what the thing is, as long as the thing's there. We do this, we go on a family cruise through Disney. That's kind of cool. There's so much we can tie into that accountability, and that allows us not to do it because that's what coach said, that's what the job is. No, it's for my family, it's for my friends, it's for, that togetherness. Mandy, your amen was spot on, babe. I know that'll help you.
Yes, it will.
Yes, it will. Beautiful. And if all else fails, I would love to apply for the job of being your accountability partner.
Oh, thank you. I might need that.
You got it. That goes for everybody. I have a routine. I know how to do that one.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Be careful what you ask for, though. I'm pretty damn good at it.
Oh, I know.
I know you know. I know
Yeah.
you know. And then when it's all said and done, we have the lead pillars, we have our money figured out, we have our schedule figured out, we know everything is on. Now we have to execute. It's everything. It's the only thing that matters, really. We've got to pull the trigger. We can't just talk about it. We can't just plan about it. We can't just enroll people to keep us accountable to it. We've got to act on the schedule. We've got to do the thing. We've got to circle dial even on the days we don't feel like circle dialing. I always think about Michael Jordan, right? And that flu game, guys. I know you know what I'm talking about. For the rest of us, I don't know. He was close to death. And on timeouts, they would carry him from the court to the bench and he would put the oxygen mask on. And would he go for 56, 57 that day? Something ridiculous like that. I promise you, he didn't feel like playing basketball that day, right? I promise you. Here, watch this. Fu, who's your favorite singer or band right now? But you can't play this game. Luke Combs. Okay, Luke Combs. You guys know who Luke Combs is, right? Country singer.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song by him?
Even though I'm leaving.
Even though I'm leaving. Okay. How long ago did you hear it for the first time?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Cool. How many times do you think Luke played and sang that song even before you heard it for the first time? Probably at least 1,000 times. And over the last 2 years, how many times do you think he's sang and played that song? Live. Concerts and right? At least a few hundred times. Do you think he's felt like playing that same song every time he's played it? I promise you, there's been days where he's like, the fans want it. I can't, it's about her. And I really don't want to think about her right now, but here we go. I promise you he hasn't every single time, but they do it. They do it anyways because the job is to give the fans what they want. That's our job, right? It doesn't matter what our feelings are. The facts are we need to make the calls. We need to have the conversations, regardless of what's going on in our life. regardless of how we're feeling today, because the guys and gals that pay the W-2 jobs, they don't care how we're feeling today. They need that thing done, period, end of story, right? Nobody's coming to Alex and saying, hey, you feeling up for the job today? I'm sure that's what your boss says every day, Alex. You're feeling like working today, right, Alex?
I told him the other day, I said, you know what, man, I hate to tell you this, man, but I get super excited when I talk real estate. I don't feel the same way here.
There we go. There we go. And here, even real estate after 3 decades. I love you guys. I really do. I enjoy the heck out of coaching. I love it. And I promise you, there's days I don't feel like doing it. And I know we all have that same thing. I guess we care about each other, but the world really doesn't care, right? The world doesn't care. We got to show up. We've got to execute every single day that's on the business plan. And here, we also need what wasn't on the list. We need days off. We need time off. We need to refresh. But don't get in the habit of working and wishing you weren't working and being off work and thinking about, oh man, I'm guilty. I should be working. When you're at work, work. When you're playing, go play. And if you're working the days we're supposed to be, according to the plan, then there's no guilt. Go to Disneyland, go to Tahiti, go travel the world, do your thing, go call soccer games without guilt. Just go do the job, right? And I'm not saying you individually, I'm saying us collectively. It's just the feelings are not what we signed up for, right? The work is what we signed up for on the days we signed up to do it. If it's that day and that's on the schedule, execute it. Then go home and enjoy, right? We do need the days off, build those into the schedule, whether it's a Monday, a Thursday, a week here, 2 days here, that doesn't matter to me. I think we can reach all of our goals in 4 or 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, as long as we're doing the work we're supposed to in the hours we're supposed to be doing them. Right? It's not the time we're not at work, it's the time that we're supposed to be working, and what are we doing in those hours that really matter. We don't need to work 60, 80 hours. I mean, mazel tov, if that's what you want to do, go for it, go get it. It's your life. But I also know we have lives outside of real estate that matter to us. Yeah, now I'm repeating myself. Execute on the plan. Once the plan's written, give it 90 days. Give it 90 days, work it straight through for 90 days. Now let's reevaluate and make sure it's working and we're getting the results we want. Are we doing the things? And in fact, I'll give you one last piece and I'll end here. When it comes to the plan and especially the schedule, rewrite the schedule every 90 days. This is a new one for me, and I'm a time Nazi. This is a new one. One of my coach friends says the sun's up at a different hour, the sun sets at a different hour. Us with kids are on different schedules. It's colder, it's hotter. We have different activities in our social life happening during different times of the year. We need to modify, be strict enough to have a schedule, be flexible enough to modify it as needed. Every 90 days, go back and look at it. Tuesdays and Thursdays, now we have karate. So my late nights and appointments are Monday, Wednesdays, and Sunday afternoons now, or whatever that is. We've got to look at it every 90 days. And really, as we're at it, the pillars, the marketing, the budget, all of it should be looked at and reviewed on a 90-day cycle. So we're as on top of our game as we can be, right? We learn things. We're different people every single day, right? We're evolving. 90 days in this business is that real estate cycle. Is what we're doing working, or what do we need to do to modify it to make it better for our world, our business, our current circumstances? It's important. Cool, guys, that's what I have. Thoughts, questions, concerns, hallucinations, ahas, or craps.
Hey, I just want to share that you just got to get the mindset right? Because for me, when I'm cold calling or door knocking, You know, you get that person, or I get several times where people, how'd you get my number? Don't call me, they'll hang up on me, go to hell, whatever the case may be.
Oh,
But
yeah.
my mindset is set that for the million people that tell me that, there's that one person um, that's having challenges, that can't sleep at night, that's waiting for my call.
That's right.
So just remember that to keep going, because there's somebody out there that needs your help. When we have the solution, or we're going to be able to show them the process to get them where they need to go.
That's right. Absolutely. Alex just gave us Julio
Via Gomez,
Via
via Gomez.
I just texted to myself. I'll text it around to everybody right now. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. This one's recorded. I'm gonna load it up in our training behind Aaron's. So if you want to rewatch this, all the notes will be there. And of course, I'm here if you guys need anything. Let me know how I can help. Appreciate you guys. Go get them. Have a
Thanks,
great
guys.
week.